If you truly wish to understand a man's character, do not be distracted by his wealth, his appearance, or even his list of achievements. These things can be borrowed, inherited, or staged. Instead, listen carefully to his words. Speech is never accidental. A man's tongue reveals the condition of his mind. The Stoic philosophers taught that language is a reflection of inner order or inner chaos. Just as spoiled fruit exposes a diseased tree, careless and reckless words expose a weakened intellect. Today, we will examine 5 phrases that consistently reveal foolishness. These are not harmless expressions. They strip away the mask and uncover ignorance, arrogance, fear, and insecurity. If you recognize these words in yourself, take it as a moment of awakening, a call to growth and discipline. If you hear them frequently from others, consider it a warning about the character you are dealing with. 1. It's not my fault. The first and loudest cry of a weak man is blame. When life presents difficulty, his instinct is never self-examination. Instead, he searches for someone or something to accuse. He blames society, his upbringing, his circumstances, bad luck, or fate, anything except himself. Responsibility feels unbearable to him, so he pushes it away. Marcus Aurelius taught the opposite path. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. A foolish man avoids responsibility because it exposes his inadequacy. A strong man accepts it because he understands that responsibility is the training ground of virtue. When he fails, he does not complain. He asks, "What can this teach me?" When he falls, he does not curse the ground. He asks, "How can I rise stronger?" Blame is easy, but it keeps a man powerless. Ownership is difficult, but it makes him formidable. 2. I already know. The second sign of foolishness is arrogance disguised as confidence. With this phrase, a man closes his ears and locks the door to wisdom. He interrupts learning by declaring mastery. Epictetus warned us clearly. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. This phrase does not signal intelligence, it signals stagnation. The man who says, "I already know," chooses comfort over growth. He prefers the illusion of knowledge to the humility of learning. Wisdom, however, requires the courage to admit ignorance. The truly wise man approaches life as a perpetual student. Humility is not weakness. It is the foundation of strength. As Socrates famously said, "The only true wisdom is knowing that you know nothing." 3. That's impossible. This phrase reveals surrender before the struggle even begins. To a foolish man, challenges appear as immovable walls rather than obstacles to be climbed. He declares defeat not because something cannot be done, but because he is unwilling to endure the discipline and discomfort required to do it. Seneca exposed this mindset perfectly. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. Most impossibilities are not real. They are limitations of imagination and effort. To the coward, effort feels pointless. To the Stoic, effort itself gives life meaning. The wise man understands that growth is forged through resistance. 4. I don't care. At first glance, this phrase seems harmless, even detached. But in truth, it often conceals deep weakness. The Stoics did teach indifference, but not apathy. Their indifference was noble, a release from obsession with wealth, status, and external validation. When a foolish man says, "I don't care," he is usually hiding his fear of effort and his lack of direction. Epictetus made the distinction clear. Some things are within our control, and others are not. The wise man does not waste emotion on what he cannot control, but he cares deeply about his character, his actions, and his integrity. The fool uses "I don't care" as an escape from duty. The Stoic uses discernment as a tool for freedom. 5. What's in it for me? This final phrase exposes selfishness in its purest form. A foolish man views every interaction as a transaction. He measures every action by personal gain. But Marcus Aurelius reminded us of a higher truth. What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee. Life is not about endless taking. It is about contribution. A wise man seeks to serve, not to exploit. He understands that fulfillment does not come from accumulation, but from becoming someone of value. A meaningful life is not measured by what you own, but by who you become through service to others. The Stoics taught that words are not merely sounds. They are habits of thought made audible. A foolish man reveals his weakness every time he speaks. A wise man, guided by philosophy, speaks with humility, responsibility, and virtue. Change your language, and you begin to change your destiny, because when your words rise, your character follows. Let us walk the path of strength, discipline, and inner peace. That a man's words are not random. They are rehearsed daily in the privacy of his thoughts long before they ever reach his mouth. Speech is the final expression of belief. This is why the Stoics paid such close attention to language. They understood that how a man speaks reveals what he worships, what he fears, and what he avoids. Weakness cannot hide for long behind vocabulary. Eventually, it confesses itself. A foolish man does not become foolish by accident. He becomes foolish by habit. Each careless phrase reinforces a mindset, and each mindset slowly becomes character. Over time, these words harden into identity. This is why self-mastery begins not with grand actions, but with disciplined speech. Before a man can rule his circumstances, he must rule his tongue. Let us look deeper at what separates the foolish man from the disciplined one. The foolish man reacts. The wise man responds. Reaction is emotional, impulsive, and defensive. Response is deliberate, calm, and rooted in principle. When a foolish man speaks, his words rush out to protect his ego. When a wise man speaks, his words serve truth, growth, or silence. The foolish man speaks to be seen. The wise man speaks to be useful. Consider again the phrase, "It's not my fault." This statement is not merely an excuse. It is a declaration of helplessness. The man who repeats it announces to the world that he believes himself to be a victim of forces beyond his control. And a man who believes he is a victim will never become a leader, a builder, or a master of his life. He has surrendered before the battle has even been named. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot choose our circumstances, we always choose our response. The foolish man resents this truth because it removes his excuses. The wise man embraces it because it grants him freedom. Responsibility is not a burden, it is permission to act. Now reflect again on the phrase, "I already know." This is the sound of a closed mind. Growth demands friction. Learning demands discomfort. To say, "I already know," is to declare yourself complete, and nothing complete can grow. The foolish man confuses confidence with certainty. The wise man understands that certainty is the enemy of progress. True confidence is quiet. It listens. It questions. It refines itself. Arrogance is loud because it is fragile. It must constantly announce itself to survive. And then there is, "That's impossible." This phrase reveals a man who measures the world by his current limits instead of his potential. He judges the future using the weakness of the present. The Stoics rejected this thinking entirely. They believed that hardship was not an obstacle to virtue, but its proving ground. Difficulty is not a signal to retreat. It is an invitation to train. What breaks the undisciplined man forges the disciplined one. The foolish man avoids pain and remains small. The wise man accepts pain and becomes formidable. When we hear, "I don't care," we are often hearing surrender disguised as indifference. A man who truly does not care about externals is rare and disciplined. A man who claims not to care about everything is usually running from responsibility. Apathy is not peace. It is decay. And finally, what's in it for me? This question reduces life to a marketplace and human beings to tools. A man who asks this constantly will never know loyalty, purpose, or respect. He may gain short-term advantage, but he will lose long-term meaning. The Stoics believe that we are fragments of a larger whole. To harm the whole is to weaken oneself. To serve the whole is to strengthen one's own soul. A man becomes powerful not by extracting value from others, but by becoming valuable to others. The Stoics were not emotionally numb. They were emotionally selective. They cared deeply about what mattered and released what did not. The foolish man abandons both. In the end, wisdom is not loud. It does not announce itself with clever phrases or moral superiority. Wisdom is visible in restraint, in responsibility, in measured speech, and in consistent action. A wise man does not need to declare his virtue. It is evident in how he lives and how he speaks. Every word you choose is a vote for the kind of man you are becoming. Speak like a victim, and you will live like one. Speak like a student, and you will grow. Speak like a servant of virtue, and your life will align with strength, discipline, and peace. Guard your words carefully. They are shaping you, even when you are not paying attention.